Hello, this is Big Lou again for part 2 of my gaming year experience, and for this I'll be talking about the Xbox 360 now. So, when the Xbox 360 first came out in 2005, excuse me, I immediately said to myself, the Xbox 360 is going to be the new PlayStation 2, in which it's going to be the first new generation system to come out. It'll have a 1 year head start to build up its fan base. I was correct on that, but what I was not correct on was the fact that, like when the PS2 came out, the PS2 had a lot of defects. And, well, as you know by now, the 360 had a lot of defects with their Red Ring of Doom. And the thing I find very surprising about this is that I got the first generation PS2, and mine's is still working to this day. While for the Xbox 360, I am now on my fifth one. So that's a little bit discouraging for people who still want to buy a 360, but they're like, ugh, does it still have that red ring problem? But aside from all that, the 360 had a killer lineup of games that came out in '07, and I think that was the reason why no good games came out in the first half of '08, because of the fact that we're still too busy trying to beat these games from '07. I know I was. I mean, in '07 I was real busy with Mass Effect, Eternal Sonata, Call of Duty 4, and Halo 3. And look what happened. Call of Duty 4 got more Xbox Live play than Halo 3. But the main thing about '08 was that I thought it was purposely done so we have that time to finish our games from '07. So in '08 we're still trying to finish those games. And then it really didn't pick up till when E3 came, and with E3's big secret for everybody was, holy crap, Final Fantasy on the 360? This is it, this is the end, ha ha ha, and all that other stuff. For me, this is going to come of a shock, but I haven't played a Final Fantasy game except for Crystal Chronicles on GameCube. So now that that's out of the way, basically the Microsoft's E3 press conference I thought overall was the best one, even though they spent a little bit too much time on that you're in the movies, and that was a lot of people's complaint was like, okay, they spent like this little amount of time on these other games, but yet for the you're in the movies they spent this much time on it. So it seemed that the 360 was like, okay, dry spell, dry spell, dry spell. Oh, here comes the fall. Okay, now all the killer games are coming out. And especially for Japanese RPG games, I was surprised by the amount of JRPG games that were on the 360. I mean, good grief. There was a lot of good games on there. But with our oh so beautiful economy, I wasn't able to. I'm gonna pick up Tales of Vesperia. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. 360 still had some good lineup in the fall. Xbox Live, the multiplayer was still a big problem for me because you still have a lot of jerks out there. So for me, I hardly play with my headset. In fact, the only time I do play with a headset is if somebody on my friend list wants to play, then I'll play. For me, the big game in that early year was, yeah, GTA 4. GTA 4, awesome game, even though I found it pretty amazing how people's attention span for it grew short. As with all other big titles, like in my previous one, Smash Brothers, that game came out 2 weeks later, I'm bored. Same thing with GTA 4, it's like, oh, this game's awesome, it's the best! 2 weeks later, I'm bored. What else is there to do? So, GTA 4 kept us somewhat busy, but the bottom line was, for me, the Xbox 360, dry spell, good lineup of games, and really, all I can say is, there's really not much to say. The last thing I'll end off on is the Xbox Live experience, since that's the big talk, because since everybody had to update the dashboard, and then you had the new experience, and for a lot of people, it was a mixed bag. For me, it's pretty cool. I got bored with the blade system anyway, but I will say my biggest dislike with it is that for my old themes, they're pretty much useless now, since you can barely see them. And I'm already a Netflix subscriber, so that just added icing to the cake. And for people that wants to start the game up quickly, all you have to do is just go to My Xbox System Settings, Startup, and then there's an option for Disk, Dashboard, and Windows Media Center. And you just pick disk, and then the game will start up as soon as you boot the disk up, so you don't have to go through the new experience that some people liked and some people don't like. But hey, if you push the guide button, it goes back to somewhat of the blade system. And bottom line was, for me, I had a good year with the 360. Now it's just a matter of, hopefully, if financial problems get erased, I can finally get a PS3 and see what I think about that. But for the next one, I'll mainly just talk about what I've experienced with the PS3, even though I don't own it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Take it easy and stay tuned for part 3.